Right, so as I indicated earlier, we're starting with the breaking news, which has to do with a decision taken by the FIFA's adjudicatory chamber, and it involves handing a lifetime ban to Kwesi Nyantakyi, former president of the Ghana Football Association. He's been banned from all football-related activities for life, essentially, both national and international. And this statement came through in the last hour, and it says the adjudicatory chamber of the Independent Ethics Committee has banned Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi, former president of the Ghana Football Association, GFA, for life from all football-related activities, administrative, sports, or any other at both national and international level. The adjudicatory chamber found Mr. Nyantakyi guilty of having violated Article 19, conflict of interests, Article 21, which has to do with bribery and corruption, and Article 22, commission of the FIFA Code of Ethics, 2012 edition. As a consequence, Mr. Nyantakyi is banned for life from all football-related activities, administrative, sports, or any other at both national and international level. Additionally, a fine in the amount of 500,000 Swiss francs has been imposed on Mr. Nyantakyi. The decision was notified to Mr. Nyantakyi today, and the ban comes into force immediately. So that's the very latest we're getting from FIFA in the last 1 hour, and it has to do with the expose on corruption conducted by investigative journalist Anas Aremia. Anas, and joining me in the studio right now is Hans Mensah Ando, who is my colleague here. He's with the sports team here at JoyNews, and he's going to be taking us through some of the issues raised in the petition that was handed over to FIFA by investigative journalist Anas Aremia Anas in the wake of the number 12 documentary which he put out some time ago now. So, Hans, thanks for making time to join us. So I want you to take us through the petition that Anas Aremia Anas submitted to FIFA, which has to do with Kwesi Nyantakyi and the fact allegations that he had taken a bribe.
Okay, well, so first of all, let me mention that if you go through that petition, it was watertight, very, very tight in the way that it was fashioned out. He talks about the investigations he carried out, stipulate the period within which he carried out that particular investigations, and also goes through the outcome of that particular investigation, that is Anas Aremia Anas. And so it's a 7-page petition that he presented to FIFA. Now, it was presented through his lawyers, Kisi Ejabin, and Anas referred to several provisions of the FIFA Code of Ethics, Article 15, 19, 20, 21, 22, and the FIFA Disciplinary Code, Article 61 and 62, which the resigned FA president may have breached at the time. And like I said, it was a 7-page document that was presented as far as that petition was concerned. So he attached the video of that particular investigative piece to
the number 12 documentary, which was shown widely here in Ghana and even on the BBC.
He also captured audio and transcribed what was in the audio and handed it over to FIFA. So it's like I said, very, very tight. It was going to be very, very difficult for FIFA to come out with any other outcome apart from what they've served on Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi today. And he detailed stuff like his involvement with government and the fact that he goes talking about getting contracts for some people, and the fact that he mentions the president, and the fact that he mentions breach, how do you call it, increasing the power of government officials in order to get those contracts for those people. So very, very detailed. It has receipts, travel receipts and stuff like that, the audios, the video. So very, very tight. And I'm sure. I think we filed a story on my JoyOnline.com. The documents out there on my JoyOnline.com.
All right, thank you very much, Hans Mensah. And so those are the details, the copies of the petition that you can see on your screen right now. But joining me on Skype, via Skype right now is my colleague, Gary R. Smith, and he and all other sports journalists have been following this this story very keenly, and he's going to be explaining to us exactly what it means when they say that Mr. Nyantakyi has been banned from all football-related activities. Thank you very much, Gary. So you tell us, what does it mean when FIFA says, or the adjudicatory chamber says that Mr. Nyantakyi has been banned from all football-related activities?
Well, like it said on the communication, you notice that there was a part that was in brackets, which said administrative, sports, or any other. So those words give idea exactly they are talking about. Which means administrative, he can't hold it as an official one of stars, which he was the CEO of the Ghana Premier. He couldn't hold it as Ghana Football Association president. He couldn't hold himself as executive committee member of the GFA. He couldn't hold himself as second vice president of the Federation of African Football, and he couldn't himself as the president of the WAFU, the West African Football Union, Zone B. Most of all, the biggest one, that he couldn't hold himself as a FIFA Executive Council member. That's what that means. He can't go and watch football in any capacity. That's the sport. Then the other side is any other. It's left to your imagination.
All right, Gary, you talk about the fact that he can't go and watch any football match. Is that really the case?
In official capacity.
All right.
In official capacity. So he can buy a ticket and go as a fan, go and watch certain games. However, from my reading of recent things, during this past World Cup, Sepp Blatter went to watch the games on the request of Vladimir Putin, and that was an issue in the international media. But remember, Sepp Blatter also has a very lengthy ban because of his activities that led him in trouble as well. The defense was he was given an invitation, or went at the behest or the request of the Russian government, he could go and watch the game. So in certain jurisdictions, they would interpret this as meaning that if I say you can't have anything to do with football, you can't even come as a fan. But most of the time, you can go into a stadium and watch as a fan, you won't be content. If some people are really betting, they will take it to that level.
No, so there's been this joke that's been passed around. They say that even if he sees some small boys playing football, cold football, he can't stop to watch. I would want to think that that's actually a joke.
That's because don't forget that FIFA is an organization that subscribes to international law, human rights, UN conventions, and all that. No matter what he has done, he's a member of an association, and he has done things that go foul the rules of the association. But you can't deny his inalienable right to life, a certain basic right. He has the right to breathe, to eat.
All right, we're losing Gary there on the Skype connection. We have Augustine Ahimfo, former Black Star forward. He's joining us on telephone. Good evening to you, Mr. Ahimfo, and thanks for making time. Now, how does this news come across to you?
Thank you very much for having me. It is very sad, but that is a decision for FIFA, so we just have to move on.
Did you think it was going to come to this?
Obviously, yes, because of the measures that FIFA has put in place since what happened under Sepp Blatter. And so I knew that there was going to be some sanctions, but as to the live ban, I wasn't expecting that.
So are you suggesting that probably the live ban is too severe a sanction?
I believe so. because when you say life, what is life? And I think I heard you ask a question that he could not even stop to watch a game. I don't think it's part of it.
Okay, that's actually a joke.
Yes, but I think if we had gotten, some years attached to the suspension, then obviously we could know that this was where we are heading towards. But for life and also the financial penalty that has been given to him, I think it's a bit severe.
Now, severe as it is, don't you think that it will send the right message to, shake up the system as everybody has been hoping will happen?
Israel, that should tell us that it gets to a point we should not let power corrupt us. We should know when to give up and when to say that enough is enough. I think what has happened. And it's there for a lesson for all of us. No one should be happy for what has happened because it could be me, it could be you, it could be somebody else. We should all learn lessons out of this. And then I think in the future, if you think you are doing something which is untoward, then this should serve like a deterrent for you not to do that. So it is sad, but we have to move on.
Now, this is a guy, or this is somebody who played a key role in the affairs of the Ghana football, the Black Stars and everything else. How are your colleagues, or have you had the chance to speak with some of your colleagues about this decision taken by FIFA, and how are they responding to or reacting to it?
You see, as human beings, none of us feels that even your worst enemy should find himself in a situation like this. But like I earlier on indicated, when we are in power, we should be careful about the things that we do, the decisions that we make. And so it's like a caution to all of us that in the future, if, let's say, myself, I'm in a position, I should respect the position that I hold and also do things that are in line with the position that I hold. And so it is not a good thing, but like I've stated, it has happened. And we shouldn't have allowed this thing to happen. I mean, got into where it got to. The people around the president, the former president, I've always said that did not help him. And it got to a point we should have all been able to tell him that, look, this is time, you have to give up, let somebody come in. We wouldn't have been where we are if that has happened. But it didn't. So we just have to learn lessons out of it, that in the future, nothing like that will come before us. I mean, it's sad, but we just have to put ourselves together and then hope that in the future we will not find ourselves. Because this is Ghana. It's not an individual.
Mr.
Ghana.
Mr. Info, you indicated that you thought that he should have probably quit at some point in time. When did you think was the right time for him to quit? 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 10 years ago?
Not really, because I believe that we all know that the last elections that was held by the FA or the Executive Committee, there was the understanding that that was going to be his last term. And subsequently, he declared that he was considering not contesting again. And I believe that this is where those around him should have helped him.
Right.
But they allowed him to come back to the extent that people from within and outside all started speaking on his behalf, and he kept mute over it. And to the extent that the CAF president was here saying that we should allow him to contest for another term and all that. And I believe all these things really touched on Anas to do what he did.
All right.
I personally believe that if he had stepped aside or decided that, look, I am not going to contest again, I think I've done enough and I'm going to leave for the people left behind to come in, this thing wouldn't have come before us.
All right.
But because he did not, the likes of Anas and his people decided that, look, we've stated about this issue, and then because you are the helm of affairs, we are going to tackle you. And unfortunately, he fell for it.
Okay, thank you very much, Augustine Ahimfo. That was former Black Stars forward, Augustine Ahimfo. Now, we're also joined via Skype by Jerome Autry, the management member of Dreams FC. Now, Jerome, thank you for making time. What does this mean for Ghana football?
Our football has been battered because this is not the first time official of Ghana football is suffering a ban from FIFA. We heard of Refugee. He was slapped with a ban by FIFA for, some wrongdoing. It goes to show you that the last year or so, football has suffered so much. And I think that this Nyantakyi ban more or less summarizes all the problems that our football has faced over the years. Like Gerson Ahimfo would say, some of us saw this coming. People started talking about the fact that he has overstayed, needed to go, and people defended him. People rationalized why he needed to continue as the chairman. But if you've studied, how leadership has been on the African continent, this is how every leader that overstays gets his grade in the end. I'm not happy with us to start Kwesi, but it is a clear indication that if you lead an organization and you get to the point where the very people who put you there feel that you have served and you have to leave, I think you must go.
All right, thank you, Jerome. But do hold on. We also have on phone Alhaji Raji, is a former chairman of the Ghana League Clubs Association, GACA, and he worked with the former GFA president, Kwesi Nyantakyi. He also happens to be a friend. Thank you very much. Now, how do you think Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi is taking all of this?
Well, thank you. I have not heard from him. I have not seen him. But I think with a little contact that I had with him, I think he's well connected to have been notified about this ban. I'm very sure this or week before today. And I think by now he should be able to have put the necessary cushion around it so that he will be able to absorb what has come.
Now, Augustine Ahimfo, we spoke with him a short while ago, and he's suggesting that the sanction is a bit too harsh. Is that something you agree with?
Well, I'm a student of history. There is a time for everything. A time to start a thing and a time to end it. And I believe what my good friend has gone through for the past 3, 4, 5 months, especially after the announced expose, because I know that I don't think this will be too much of a bother to him. I don't think so.
Right. Now, we also know that he owns WA All Stars, and he has a stake in there. Now, how will this play? Is it that he has to relinquish his interest in WA All Stars or cede it to somebody else? How exactly is this going to play out?
Well, I think naturally, I believe if I were him, for the past 6 months or 5 months, my interest in the administration of football will have dwindled a lot. Will have dwindled to the extent that I will be rethinking about my participation in administrating any football club in this country. And I believe he's a very smart guy. He's very, very sensible, very intelligent. Especially, I have given him so much respect that he has been able to go through all this pressure. I know the mental pressure that he has been through, and he has survived it. I believe that we have like any footballer after your football years, there's more life after that. He's just 50 years, maybe yesterday or 2 days ago. He has more years ahead of him to engage himself in other departments of life. So I believe he has pushed himself very well for this day.
All right. Thank you very much, Alhaji Raj. But I'll come to you, Gary and Jerome, quickly. I want to find out do you think this will bring closure to the Anas expose, or you think that Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi would want to continue to fight this case in court?
Well, I think it is up to him to decide. In the legal courts, probably might have a chance there, but from the story coming from FIFA, I think even if he goes for an appeal, I don't see how he's going to survive that, because the FIFA communicates very clear, states exactly what he did. He violated certain articles of FIFA, and he's had a punishment for it. There are a lot of lessons that Ghana football, all of us in football in Ghana, speak from this. You cannot be in the game, engage in corrupt practices, and go scot-free. What has happened to Mr. Nyantakyi is something that all of us must learn from. Like I said, I'm not happy, but I think that looking at the interest of the game, it is very good for all of us.
Right, thank you very much, Jerome. And you, Gary? So, Gary, I was asking, do you think this will bring closure to the number 12 expose, or you think that Kwesi Nyantakyi is going to continue to fight this case in court? All right, we appear to have lost Gary there. So, but just to recap the story that we're dealing with, the breaking news that we're dealing with in the last 30 minutes or so, the former Ghana Football Association President Kwesi Nyantakyi has been handed a lifetime ban from all football-related activities. Additionally, he used to pay a fine of nearly $500,000. And we have been discussing this decision, which was taken by the adjudicatory chamber. I have with me here in the studio Hans Mensah Andor, who I started the conversation with. So I was asking, do you think that this will bring finality to Nyantakyi's quest to get justice or fight the case in court?
It's a very, very tricky one, because you know, it's not too clear the implications this particular conclusion reached by FIFA has on the existing case here in Ghana. If you remember, the Attorney General's Department are also working to see whether, you know, they are going to prosecute him or not, and that's also petitioned the Ages Department, you know, to investigate the issue and then see whether they are going to be prosecuted. The last we heard of it was that the Attorney General said they don't have enough as it stands to prosecute Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi. It has got a lot of people, you know, asking questions as to how FIFA is able to, based on the same evidence presented by Anas, find Mr. Nyantakyi guilty of the various breaches of FIFA statutes, and why the Ghanaian government is unable to. Of course, you have to know that the two, you know, issues as far as FIFA and the AG is concerned are mutually exclusive. But that said, I think that the standards of corruption, at least in principle, wouldn't differ too much in FIFA statutes and the Ghanaian constitution. So it will be very tricky what decision Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi himself comes to, knowing also that he's a lawyer, knowing very well that, look, if I appeal and I lose, it could have an implication on the case in Ghana as well. So very, very interesting what decision he is going to make. But one thing is certain, I think that the Anas expose is yielding results, and it's refreshing to know that.
All right, thank you very much, Hans Mensah Andor. And Hans Mensah Andor will be back in about 1 hour with the sports update. What's coming up in sports?
Definitely, we'll bring you more on this particular issue, as well as other big stories making headlines around the world of sports.
All right, thank you very much, Hans Mensah. Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority has described as untrue recent allegations of corruption leveled against him. Kwame Wusu is said to have authorized expenditure of over 135,000 cedis for an end-of-year dinner party for less than 100 staff of the authority in December last year at a hotel he is said to have interest in. It is also alleged that 10,000 cedis was spent on lunch for 8 persons at the same hotel. Though the GMA Director General confirms the said expenses and his interest in the hotel, he says the figures being bandied about are inaccurate. Efwa Evans Chenry reports.
The allegations against the Ghana Maritime Authority Director General emanated from controversial musician and politician Kwame A+, who claimed in a post on Facebook on October 24 this year, 135,125 Ghana cedis had been spent on food, drinks and music for an end-of-year dinner party on December 22, 2017. The amount, according to A+, was paid to Lux Suite Hotel, where CEO of the GMA, Kwame Owusu, also holds the position of group chairman, raising concerns of a possible conflict of interest. On another occasion, according to A+, a request was made by the Director of Administration for the payment of 10,652 Ghana cedis to the same Lux Suite Hotel for food and drinks for 8 people at a meeting. Mr. Owusu at the news conference on Tuesday, however, denied the allegations he says are a ploy to tarnish his image.
And the most important thing that I would like to put across of you, the media, is that if nothing at all, it says that for the cost of food supply to authority during the management meetings and stakeholders meetings on maritime security fees and charges at the head office. I think any academician would know that it cannot be 8 participants. And it is interesting that management team has been put on some platforms and TV stations, and we are about 17 people. Even 8 people will not form a quorum for us to even go ahead to have a meeting. Let aside that stakeholders meetings to discuss fees and charges in the maritime will not be 8 people. Anybody who has been in journalism, who has been going out would know and can come and find out, even if you cannot speak to the Director General, to be able to do your own investigation to ask how many people do form some of these meetings, other than going out and keep on circling 8 people just to disturb the general public, just to make the Director General and his people look bad.
So Kwame Owusu says he has asked his lawyers to take action against A+.
My lawyers have been given the necessary instructions, and when I leave you here, they are preparing documents so that we can bring in a charge against Mr. A+, the vigilante.
He outlined some of his achievements since he assumed office.
Well, the musician A+ has been reacting to threats by the GMA Director General that he is going to sue him. He says he called his bluff when he spoke with Evans Mensah on Top Story earlier this evening.
Mr. Owusu, I don't know him. In fact, I have not said anything about Mr. Owusu. I don't have his number. It was Saturday when I was coming from Kufuor that Honorable Kennedy Japan called me and said, "Oh, don't you know that Kwame Owusu is my friend?" And I asked him, "You can call Honorable." I said, "Who is Kwame Owusu?" And he said, "The Ghana Maritime boss." I said, "Oh, me, I'm dealing with the issue. I don't even know the individuals involved, but I'm dealing with the issue at stake, wasting government money. So I don't even know." He said, "Oh, he's my friend, he's so and so and so, but I'll present you the facts of the matter." I said, "Okay, bring me the facts. If they are what you are saying they are, then we will go out there." I don't have a problem coming out and telling everybody that, no, these are the facts of the matter. In fact, they didn't do this, they did this, they didn't do that. But you see, just to distort and create an impression that somebody who is going to extort money from somebody and say that I bought the SIM card from the roadside, they have set up their own. I'm sure he was WhatsApping himself. That man, he was WhatsApping himself. Took one phone, WhatsApp the other one. Who's I bought the SIM card from the roadside, and the one girl who sold it to me. Look, I'm not a kid, and the people who are listening to Joy FM are not children.
He says he'll sue you. He's asked his lawyers to begin the process.
He's going to sue me.
Yes.
Nobody advised him. He doesn't know how many people have sued me in this Ghana. Even
The Multimedia Group Limited has lodged an official complaint to the police on the assault of one of its journalists, Kwesi Parker-Wilson, who was on the beat of the former President John Dramani Mahama's campaign trail, was slapped by one of the security detail for attempting to secure an interview with the former president. Medical examination, according to doctors, revealed he suffered trauma to his right eye. Here is Kwesi Parker-Wilson recounting his experience.
So he took me to the former president, and Mr. Mahama apologized. He said he's sorry. I should forgive the NDC, forgive him and the NDC party, and asked me to identify the young man who assaulted me. If I'm able to do that, he will deal with the young man. But unfortunately, at that moment, all the security guards present at the auditorium, he wasn't there. So I told him, oh, the man is not here at the moment, but if I'm able to identify him, I'll definitely let him know. And he said, yes, he wants that so that he can deal with the young man. So that is what happened. And when I went to the hospital, the doctor said, looks like I have an infection with the eye. So I should return on Wednesday for a critical examination of the eye. But he gave me some drugs so that it could relieve the pain or ease the pain that I'm feeling. Because as I said, as I speak to you right now, I still feel pains around.
See the red?
Yeah, it's still red, yeah. So hopefully tomorrow I'll go to the hospital for the doctors to examine the eye, and then they can confirm if there is any injury or anything. I don't know.
And I'm sure the police have also been notified about this case and be going there soon.
Yes, the managing editor, Mr. Kwashi, has already notified the police, and from here we're going to the police station to officially file a complaint, and I'm sure they'll take it up from there and investigate the matter.
Right, so as we indicated, Kwesi Parker-Wilson has been to the hospital, and doctors have confirmed that he actually has an injury. They've confirmed the injury to the eye. They had the medical term for it. They talked about trauma to the eye. And the Ghana Journalists Association has reacted to this latest incident by involving the reporter Kwesi Parker-Wilson. And I'm going to be sharing their statement with you in a bit, but clearly they're unhappy, and they're asking that the police would investigate this matter. We know that the police have confirmed receipt of the complaint, and they have indicated that they're working on it. Right, so let me bring you the statement from the Ghana Journalists Association. So it was released today. It says, the Ghana Journalists Association regrets the reported assault of a JoyNews reporter by a security officer of ex-President John Mahama and totally condemns the act. The incident occurred on Monday, October 29, 2018 at the Pentecost University College Soto near Accra, where the ex-president had taken his recent campaign tour. Wilson Parker, who had been covering the political campaign of the ex-president for some time now, was in the line of duty when the security officer allegedly assaulted him. The GGA finds the incident most unfortunate. The ex-president is a man of high respect and great honor. Also, apart from being a member of the GGA, he has always had cordial relations with the media. It is therefore expected that officers who work for him and on his behalf would emulate his character in their dealings with the media. The GGA appreciates the purported apology rendered by the said security officer to Wilson Parker and a promise by the office of the ex-president to investigate the matter. These are proactive steps that demonstrate a will to deal with the matter. We have a hope the investigation will be swift and not shield the perpetrator of the assault from punishment. We further call on the Ghana Police Service to investigate the matter and take appropriate steps to bring the perpetrator to book. We take the opportunity to reiterate earlier calls by the GJA on the need for journalists to be extremely cautious when covering events in hostile environments and try as much as possible to put safety ahead of the story. On the way forward, the GJA plans to engage with all stakeholders, including political parties and media owners, on how best we can work in harmony and minimize cases of assault against journalists. And it's signed by President of the Ghana Journalists Association, Afil Moni. And we're going to be dealing a lot more with this particular issue on PM Express, which follows right after the bulletin. And Evans Mensah will be hosting Ken Ashigbe. He's the CEO of the Chamber of Telecoms, and he's been a long-standing supporter of the media. He's actually worked in the media for a really, really long time. He's managed media in several of the media houses. Now, we also have Esther Ama, who's a journalist and a BNFT columnist, who's also be joining the discussion. Also on the program will be Afilmoni, who's the president of the Ghana Journalists Association, who issued the statement condemning the assault on the JoyNews reporter, Kwesi Parker Wilson. So do make a date for PM Express, which comes up right after this bulletin. Now, also in the news, Majority Leader Oseche Mensah, who says Parliament will not be pressured to speedily pass the Right to Information Bill into law. His comments follow failed attempts by members of the Media Coalition on the Right to Information Bill to enter the parliamentary chamber on Tuesday to mount pressure on the MPs. The bill has been pending in the House for about 14 years, and the coalition timed the action to coincide with the resumption of sitting on Tuesday. The action was, however, scuttled by the police. Joseph Bokugakbo has more.
Members of the Right to Information Coalition were in Parliament House earlier today as part of their efforts to pressure the House to get the RTI bill passed. But the security in the House prevented them from entering on the basis that they had come in branded T-shirts. Well, they say this would not discourage them, even as they try to continue to pile the pressure on Parliament to pass the bill as soon as possible.
The stance of the police and the security in Parliament was rather counterproductive to themselves, because you see, when you do this, what impression it creates is that the media people in Parliament will carry the story as though there was some level of, chaos in Parliament and all of that. But this could have been completely avoided. I think that, again, I repeat, the way and manner in which it was handled was much ado about nothing. I have confidence that we have media men and women who have pledged and committed to this action, and we will go every step of the way, with our leadership. We'll make sure that we put in place every medium legally, allowed by the laws of Ghana to ensure that parliamentarians will feel the pressure and do the needful.
The RTI bill was on the agenda of the House for today as one of the items that they would be considering. But the Majority Leader indicated that a lot of the members of the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee, who were supposed to lead the discussion and push through the necessary amendments, were absent, hence the House's inability to look at that bill today.
They are, I understand, previewing the company's bill. For what reason, none of them is here with us, and because they are supposed to be the lead pilots of the bill, may I plead that we stand the consideration down until tomorrow.
Minority Chief Whip in Parliament, Muntaka Mubarak, is asking government to show a lot more commitment to help him push through the bill by prioritizing it.
I hope that the majority or government will prioritize the right to information. Well, I have always argued, I've been a majority whip before, when government wants something done, they know what to do. They are sometimes ready to dedicate additional resources for this House to sit up to 9 p.m. and get things done. I am confident that they will keep to their word. Let's show commitment. Let's make it the front bench. Let's keep it in front, and let's not distract it most frequently with other things.
Majority Leader Oseche Mensah says the House will not be pressured into passing the bill. They'll do things at their own pace, but he's giving a fresh deadline by when they hope to get this done. And that deadline is the 15th of November.
We know what we must do. We're not responding to any pressure. We know what we must do, and we'll do it. The people of this country have sent us here to do a good job for them, and that is what we are going to do.
Isn't that why we are where we are?
So why should anybody exert pressure on you before you do what you are expected to do? Nobody should rush Parliament. We will do what is expected of us and be very diligent about our job.
At today's sitting, it was also disclosed that the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, will appear before MPs on the 15th of November to present the 2019 budget statement. From Parliament House in Accra, Joseph Opokugapo reporting.
Residents of Tema Community 4th are living in fear following the spate of armed robbery cases in the area. Just last week, 4 separate cases were recorded in this community alone, with one of the leading pharmacies attacked at gunpoint in broad daylight. The entire incident was captured on CCTV footage, which has been widely shared on social media. Emmanuel Jivenu visited the community Tuesday, and most of the shop owners he spoke with say they are forced to close earlier than usual. They're calling for police patrols to be intensified in the community to curb the spate of robberies.
This is Tema Community 4, one of the areas that has experienced quite a number of armed robbery cases in the time past. This pharmacy actually had its fair share of armed robbery cases this Sunday at about 1:30 p.m. when 3 young men were on motorbike, came into the wholesale of the pharmacy and pointed guns at 2 of the staffs that were on duty and robbed them of their valuables. Officials who wouldn't speak on record indicated that the robbers made away with a total amount of 5,000 Ghana cedis plus the phones of the staffs as well as other valuables they could lay their hands on. Fortunately, these robbers were captured on CCTV cameras and are currently being given to the Ghana Police Service to conduct investigations into the matter and bring these perpetrators to book. Residents over here are worried and are calling on the Ghana Police Service and the various security agencies to beef up security here at the Tema Community 4.
Honestly, I'm very scared because I even informed my boss that last Sunday there was a robbery case at our place. So from today onwards, I'll be closing early, because maybe they can come to my place also.
A man was shot just around the park here, yes, and we rushed him to the Nabita clinic, and we don't even know how he is now. And just 2 days today, there's a robbery at the opposite pharmacy. So seriously, we don't know what to do. So because of that, nowadays we close early. We do panic a lot because you don't know when they will come to you. Yes, you don't know when they will come to you or who. And they can appear at any time because the shooting was around 1 o'clock and the robbery too is around the same time. So we don't know when they will come to us too. Yeah.
What do you want the security agents or government to do to make sure that this is a thing of the past?
I would like the security agents to do is the patrol team should be more, especially in community 4 here, because they are always here. They are always here. We don't know what exactly they want, but they are always here. Even our shops like this. Oh, I saw the small robbery there. That one there. All the shops we have experienced. Or we are expecting the security agency to do something about it. To do something about it for us because we are afraid. Because seriously, our life is even in danger.
The majority in Parliament has dismissed calls by the minority for the dismissal of Minister for Education Matthew Poku Prempeh over the chaos at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. At a media briefing in Parliament House Monday, Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu said Matthew Poku Prempeh, a Minister of State in charge of tertiary education, Professor Kwesi Yankah, should be held ultimately responsible for the violence that led to the destruction of property at the university last week. The chairman of the Education Committee, Siaka Stevens, says the blame should be placed rather at the doorstep of the Vice-Chancellor.
Is that the solution? When we ask the minister to go, would that solve the problem once and for all? Ask them, what would they have done differently if they were in power? This is what we want to hear.
The same way that you ask the Vice-Chancellor to go because the issue had to be resolved, they think the minister should go.
No. The minister has not committed any crime. Under the watch.
The principle of ultimate responsibility.
No, under his watch, we have seen the magnitude of what has happened in the school there. So what do? If events are surrounding you, events surrounds you, and you need to be investigated, I don't think the proper thing is that you set aside so that you come out clean. But if you are there, you obstruct, frustrate, and people.
In fact, the minority says the minister and his colleague, the Minister of State, backed the principle that the university halls, single one, should be converted to mixed. And so they supported that policy, which has led to the
There's one thing giving you direction. Another thing, how to work this direction, to make this direction into fruition. If you mismanage it that way, it will lead to what we are seeing. So the fact that we say, I don't know whether it's confirmed, the fact that we say, oh, we support the idea, doesn't mean you should go and disregard everybody and start harassing students, denying them their rights, even to the extent of killing some, according to some of the social media. All these things are some of the factors, remote causes. That is not the fact that we should use Katanga Hall as a, this time, double.
So for you, there is no need to let the ministers go?
I will not be too quick, to pass judgment, because Parliament is a record of all history in Ghana. So it is incumbent upon us as a committee to invite the minister and the agency, to invite the VC and his team, to invite the student reps and listen to their share of opinion. And then we will bring report to Parliament. We will all debate on it. After that, there will be directions here and there. And it will remain as a document, a record to refer to at any point in time.
Though there appears to be a resolution to the issues at a meeting on Monday between the stakeholders and the roadmap agreed upon, Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak is asking government to ensure it sticks to the plan.
I think we need to commend the ministry. We cannot just think that it's an easy thing to do. I mean, I've been a minister before. It is not easy for a politician to take a decision, and then because of the pressure that is coming, for the person to track. And on this, that I sincerely think that we need to commend the ministry. We encourage them to keep that attitude. You start something, you may have well thought through well, you may thought that it is right, but once the issues are pointed out to you, you backtrack and allow the right process to go. And it's with this that I commend the ministry. And I hope that they are going to keep to their word. By Friday, we'll get the council constituted properly, the Vice Chancellor back in his office, then school reopens, then the council, using their own statutes, will be able to go into the nitty-gritties and be able to get to the bottom of the issue. Because I think that student concern has to be listened. You need to listen to student concern. We need to protect public property. We need to get KNUST back to its normalcy. And I think that, I mean, with fairness, I mean, we're condemning what they were doing. They did right by backtracking, and I commend them for that.
The Auditor General, Daniel Domlovo, says the war against corruption will be difficult to fight as long as countries accommodate stolen wealth of individuals from other countries. According to him, countries, especially the developed ones, should report proceeds of corruption that come into their countries. Mr. Domlovo spoke to JoyNews at the end of the 18th International Anti-Corruption Conference in Copenhagen, Denmark.
Proceeds from corruption, which there is a growing awareness. We are not yet there, but very soon I'm very sure that all the countries will come to agree that stolen assets brought into your country must be disclosed to the source, so it must be recovered. Because I seriously think that if you steal and you can't hide it, the motivation to steal will come down significantly. So it's very good that the international actors are accepting blame. At first, they never accepted. You see, these multinationals, they are responsible for the money laundering, the illicit financial flows, the transfer pricing, which is the huge part of corruption. In fact, the small ones people do by collecting bribes, etc., is still bad, but those ones are huge. If you are able to reduce those ones, I think Africa will be able to grow faster than what it is. So it's heartwarming that different actors and different players from within government, from civil society and others have all come to the realization that we have to work together.
Deputy Minister of Finance Kweku Kwarteng led Ghana's delegation to the conference. He praised the global collaboration towards fighting corruption, but says developing countries should focus on the aspects of corruption that affects them the most.
At the discussions, you would see that the strategies for fighting transnational corruption and illicit financial flows are based on Western economies. And therefore, even though Ghana will be required to comply with some of these standards, the reality is that you would end up complying with standards that improves a certain global environment against some kind of global corruption, but it will not deal with your local problems. For instance, as I had reason to discuss at one of the meetings, customs revenue is a small part of the revenue basket of many of these countries. But customs revenue is 40% of Ghana's revenue basket. If you see all the automatic exchange of information requirements, there's no customs revenue. Why? Because in many of these developed economies, customs revenue isn't a big part of their economy, and therefore they have overlooked it. So those of us from economies where customs revenues are important should alert them that if you are imposing cost on me to comply with other provisions that seem to serve the purposes of your economies and your societies, then there's a need that in defining those global standards, we look at those that are important to us as well.
And that's it for the bulletin. My name is Israelite. Thank you very much for watching. You have a good night. And as Aisha indicated, PM Express follows in the next few minutes. Stay tuned.
This is JoyNews Prime.